Ask Practical Doug.
Woo! It is time for another Ask Practical Doug.
It's that time again, y'all. And I'm
Yes.
super excited.
So, let's tell you.
Uh-oh. That started playing.
It did. It sure did.
So,
go ahead, Justin.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, if you've never been here before for an Ask Practical Doug segment, there's a tiny Doug that lives inside of Big Doug. And that tiny Doug is named Practical Doug. And it guides Doug in all of life's journeys and adventures. Practical Doug is, as named, very practical. So people often ask Practical Doug questions, and you can too on our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast. If you join us live on Tuesdays for the show, you can ask it in the chat. You can join our Discord, and there's a whole Ask Practical Doug channel devoted just to these questions. On social media, hashtag Ask Practical Doug is what we'd like you to use. And today's Practical Doug was submitted by who, Doug?
Mr. Jared Urbis submitted this just yesterday, actually.
Okay.
And it comes from a TikTok, and the handle on this comes from, I want to make sure I give them credit. It comes from Samia Hurst Majno. At Samia Hurst Majno on TikTok. And instead of playing this for a minute and a half, I'm going to summarize the situation.
Cool.
So, Samia is a doctor of sorts. I forgot all of her qualifications. But essentially the story that she tells in this minute and a half TikTok is that there was a patient that was undergoing surgery for their liver. And I don't know if it was like a liver replacement or whatever, but essentially they had to have something operate on their liver. Surgeon was able to do everything just fine. It went remarkably well. So well, in fact, that the surgeon was so proud of what they had done that they used a little laser to carve their initials into the liver. Just a little initials, like right there on the liver. Stitch them up. No problem. And it's very important to note that this patient had no complications from the surgery or specifically anything from the initials, like being carved in there. A couple years later, a second surgeon had to go in to do something just to fix. Again, nothing was caused from the previous surgeon. Second surgeon goes in there. While they're doing their stuff, they see the initials carved into the liver, and they are absolutely enraged. They are disgusted. They are repulsed. When the operation is done, they denounce the first surgeon for doing it, and they also tell the patient, hey, did you know this first surgeon signed their initials on your liver? And what Samia asks the audience is, one, did the first surgeon do anything wrong? And if so, what? And two, should the second surgeon had told the patient?
So Practical Doug, did the first surgeon do anything wrong? And if so, what? And secondarily, should the first doctor have told? Or so the second doctor have told?
Yeah. So I think this is pretty cut and dry for me. Yeah, the first surgeon absolutely did something wrong. I liken it. Well, first of all, you are doing something. You are. To put it nicely, they're adding an artistic spin on a medical procedure. They're signing their name. To me, that's about the same as putting a tattoo on somebody.
Yeah.
And you're not asking for their consent. So
Bingo.
Nothing went wrong, but what if something had gone wrong? Right? And I don't know what's possible. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm wearing a Captain America shirt on a fucking podcast on a Tuesday night in a room that's lit by a lightsaber behind me. Like, there's no way I know anything about that. But what if? I would like to believe that a doctor of that caliber would be like, nothing's going to happen, and they would know that. But still, you signed a piece of someone's body without their consent. That is not okay.
No.
And you didn't tell them about it either after the fact. You did not inform them of what you had done. So that's totally not cool at all. I think
you likening it to putting a tattoo on someone without their consent is probably the best, like, toe-to-toe example I can think of, and that it's wrong. It's just straight up wrong. It's irresponsible and it's wrong.
Yeah. I think it's a huge violation of someone's privacy, and it's got to violate so many medical like maybe not laws, but best practices and just sort of like, I don't know, unwritten rules. Like you don't stitch your initials into someone's body. Like after a surgery, be like, oh, I'll just do my initials here so they know that I was here, when it scabs over.
So it scars with Doug was here with the Z.
Yeah.
I think that doctor should have to go up to against a review board. Like I think that is in my mind. And again, we have no knowledge of how any of the inner workings of the doctoral world work, but I to me that is your medical license should be on the line. Yeah, personally,
I mean, at the very, very basic level, it's incredibly unprofessional. Like just so unprofessional that you would do that to someone's body.
Right.
So, which is just, it's not cool. So to answer the second part of the question, yeah, I think the second surgeon had a moral obligation to be like, here's what I found in your body. Someone had signed their initials into your liver, and they should absolutely denounce the first surgeon and be like, hey, I don't condone that. And for the record, I know it was you. Do you know how I know? I found your fucking initials on this person's liver. So you can't deny it, you piece of shit. And I think that's part of the Hippocratic Oath, right? Is that you got to inform the patient of what you found. And then from there, I mean, like, he's not telling them what to do or anything, but he's just like, I found this in your body.
FYI, you have initials in you.
Yeah. On your liver. So I think, so that's what you should do with that. So do with it what you will.
The hubris of the first doctor to be like, I did such a good job. I deserve to be, I deserve a permanent place on this thing that again, the hubris is just off the charts. That's some Doctor Strange pre-accident shit.
Yeah. There's a hilarious comment on TikTok to this video where someone Henry Penry goes, where does this question split the room so I can avoid that hell of a place? Like where is this a spot where it's like 50-50? He's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to be here. If anyone's like, yeah, this is cool.
Jesus.
Someone's like, he branded her. I'm like, that's
another way of looking at it.
Lack of consent. They didn't tell him, so that's a problem. He damaged tissue, even if it didn't have a consequence. There could have been a potential for a complication, I assume. I mean, Granola Mommy probably knows most about that. I mean, they probably know.
That's the name of my primary, Dr. Right? Granola Mommy.
Yeah. I agree. I think this sums it up. If done without consent, it's always wrong. That's kind of like where my initial thing was. Like, no one was like, anything. No one was like, hey, while you're in there, can you just do like a really rad like elf, with a Christmas hat on it while you're there, since you're into, designing or whatever.
Oh my God. This looks so good. Would you mind? Would it be appropriate if I asked you for your John Hancock in there?
Yeah. If he feels the need to sign his work, he's picked the wrong career.
There you go. That's it.
And based on doctor signatures, is probably barely legible, because that's just kind of the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Notoriously have bad signatures. It's a bad.
I don't know if that's initials or if that's supposed to be a peace sign. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But but having this scribble will get you medication. Here you go.
Yep. I've left you a script somewhere in your body. If you want the medication, you've got to find it.
Jared says, look, I'm happy for my vasectomy doctor to sign my balls in 2 weeks, but only if they ask first. Exactly.
Consent, man.
Yeah. Sign my balls, sir. Shave my balls, then sign them. And then snip them.
Then sniff them.
Maybe you want to do that. So that's where Practical Doug stands.
Asked and answered. I got to have some sort of like a case closed.
Machines.
Asked and answered.
Machines. Beautiful. That's all I wanted.
There it is. Done. That can be the new. That's the new ending now.
I love it. Machines. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jared, for asking. I really appreciate anyone who asks me stuff. I love diving into it. It puts me in a really fun, creative space to be like, well, how do I feel about this? And what makes the most sense? So thank you for your submission.